Hi guys, here's what I can share with you today. The good AI setup that helped me to build from scratch large feature for 3 or 4 hours. Honestly, with my own mind, with my own hands, I could spend on it like 1 or 2 days. So let me show you the feature. Here I can sign in using Swift package. Next, I will load the data in a large list that's honestly well optimized. I can delete the data, I can modify the data, I can possibly refresh the list and sign out. And all of this for 3 or 4 hours. So, what is the actual setup? So, first of all, let's look at the first part of my setup is Xcode. Yeah, it's not the best tool for development. It's buggy, it's heavy, it's not even stable for a release version. But you cannot live without it if you want an iOS app. Let me describe why. First, build settings UI helps us to easily configure what we want with build settings, build phases, like signing capabilities, general, we have different usable options here, and it's quite hard to maintain these settings without this UI because I tried to make a GPT or Claude configure this, and it sometimes breaks the project file because it's just one big large file. And if you break the project file, it will be not opened here and it's quite hard to fix. Next thing and next feature I cannot live without is this. Yeah, like content preview. Of course it's slow, of course it's not stable, sometimes it crashes, sometimes it may be just broken and you cannot run it, you cannot even debug what happened. But if you are creating UI from scratch, you probably will not want to live without it, because it's quite hard to make inject work for your project, and it quite not comfortable to run the build session again and again. Of course, if you are even using Xcode build with the CLI, it will work much slower just because it needs to access the Apple servers, and Xcode build being run in Xcode is much faster. Of course, it has such usable feature like this. This is not well. Yeah, like this. This is prediction model. Of course, in Cursor it works much faster, it's much more stable, the results are better, but you have a decent analog in Xcode and it just works. And it's fine to make changes here because you will not manually coding much time, like you will more time reviewing the codes of AI. And the latest feature I want to talk with you is this. Yeah, this is Swift packages, and it's quite hard to maintain them in Cursor or any other app, because I tried to create local packages in Claude Code, but they just didn't work. You also can maintain here different external third-party packages. And this is it. This is few reasons you want to use Xcode. Also, one more thing here is assets. It's much easier to manage here because it also has such a great feature asset symbols that only, of course, works per one model, but it just works. It's here. You can easily configure all the colors, all the icons, By the way, this icon is app icon. I created with GPT-5. Just small tip. Don't ask GPT to generate app icon. Just say what type of image you want, like gradient, hammer, and all of these details. And it will work great. The second and the main part of my setup here is this is a cursor. You can use any of you want Windsor Visual Studio Code for, because you don't need the subscription here. All you need is this main plugin. It's called Codex. Of course, the worst part here is the version 0.4. It feels sometimes like early beta. It has some bugs not fixed yet. But for $20 subscription of ChatGPT 5, you get so much value. Let me explain. You can also install this plugin. You will have from scratch it on the vertical bar. So you can just move it to the chat position of cursor, and it's more comfortable to use. What this tool is about? It automatically can include recent files, all the needed context, so it will adapt to your requests. Also, I recommend you to use the agentic full access mode. I don't recommend you to use chat. Of course, chat is more safe. It will ask you for every edit, every comment, like for web searching too. It will ask for all the comments for your approval. But honestly, for now, it works bad because you cannot review the code changes comfortably. You will struggle. And agent mods just read the files, make edits, but it cannot access internet. So you just use this full access mod and you will be fine. So next thing is the effort. For most tasks, I'm using high or medium. For normal tasks that I will know how I will implement, I use medium. But for tasks that are larger, you need more code, maybe you don't even know how to implement some feature, you may use high, and you gonna good with the limits of GPT, because I'm using almost every time high for the last week and I haven't hit the limits. And the last thing you may configure here is MCP. I have these two servers. I recommend you to not use much of them because they spend more tokens, so you may hit the limits faster. I use two of them. First of all, and the most important, the most valuable MCP, it's really lightweight too, is the Context 7. It's available, it makes AI available to use latest documentation, so it will hallucinate less, and this is the most important thing. Next is Xcode Build MCP. So how it works? You can ask GPT to make some code changes, then build and fix compile errors it will get. So it's great tool, but sometimes it's just not running. So I can recommend it to you, but you are not required to use it because it will cost you tokens. And let me try the prompts I prepared for you. So we will see how to review the changes and is it useful enough. So player view simple with my first video on this channel. Let's try. I also by accident used high effort, but this can be used, can be written like with low effort too, and it will be fine. And I really like how it looks. Not the Claude Code style, but well enough. It's okay. You can even explore what it does, how it reads the files, how it's planning, how it's going to web search. And we were just waiting here. for a minute. Yep, it's already implementing the changes. Yep. Yeah, so it automatically changed the file. That's a little bit dangerous, you need to review, but you can do all the code changes in Xcode and you will be fine. Let's look. The view of changes is quite good. You can use any div view you want. I prefer this one. And I can see what actually changed. Here is we using a WebKit with player. Uh, we even created here the sub view with some HTML. And it's actually finalizing and explaining you what it did. So let's try how it will work and how to make edits in Xcode. So let me touch the simulator and see what it did. Like the player with the first video from my channel that's actually just working fine. And this helped me to build the feature with the different flows, authorization, large lists, all optimized. Really great setup here. So, in conclusion, why Codex, not Claude Code? Because Claude Opus 4.1 requires you to pay $100 on subscription. That's actually not the cheapest subscription available. With the Codex, you can write code for a full week, for a full day, and you will not hit the limits even. But in Claude Code, you will use Opus with only planning mode probably because it's optimized for you. Yeah, also Sonnet 4, if you will use it, it feels really outdated and old. So I recommend you using Codex for a full-time job even. Are you agree with me? Or maybe not? Leave the comments below and share what you want to see next. Maybe you want AI for your normal life, like for the quality of life, or maybe you want some advanced dev topics about how to optimize SwiftUI views or any other different iOS development topics out there. Share with me all the feedback you have. I will really appreciate that. And have a nice working week.